Good day to you, everybody. Joey here with your daily weather updates here at Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel, sitting up here in Wells, British Columbia in the East Caribou at the foot of the Caribou Mountains here. Having a good old summer weather outbreak we've been going on with. Yeah, and there's thunderstorms expected in the Caribou region today and other places as well. We're going to talk about that. No severe watches have been put in place. I'm not sure if the severity is going to be there or not personally, but the lightning strikes will be there, and that is problematic. So all this and more on the show today. Let's go. There it is.
This is bad news. My God. Anything can happen.
Yeah. I'll watch the video later. Hey, try mopping this. Okay, and if you wouldn't mind hitting like, share, and subscribe, tell a friend, help me grow this channel. Facebook has demonetized me this week, so a good portion of my revenue that's been coming in the last couple months is now cut off, and that's a disaster, albeit temporarily one. It's a big disaster, and that's why YouTube's so good to me here, that I've never had a problem with YouTube in any way, right? So all the more reason to support me here, but also if you want to become a channel member and support independent media like myself, independent forecasters, that would be really much appreciated. Leave a coffee. A couple people there put down some donation yesterday to the channel. Appreciate it. Even those $1 and $2 buy me a coffees that people send me keep the channel going. Okay, let's get on with the show. All right, we'll get past my personal disasters and look at real life ones. There are 133 active wildfires in BC right now. And again, you compare to any other year, we've been having a very good year in terms of fire activity in the province. However, in the last 24 hours, we got 56 new ones that have been reported. And I'm sure there's some skunking around out there that we are not aware of yet. That lightning hit an area, but enough rain happened where the lightning hit that the fire hasn't stood up yet. So we're probably going to see more of these pop up throughout the day, I would expect. Well, the provincial situation report, BC Wildfire Service, is saying the coastal and interior regions saw dry thunderstorm activity on the morning of August 29th. The southern half of BC, including Vancouver Island, can anticipate further strikes as the day progresses. And some of those strikes that were happening this morning were in the Vail Mount area. There's still some activity going on right now near Caribou Provincial Park, Caribou Mountains Provincial Park, where Ghost Lake is. Also some in the Rocky Mountains this morning. Lots of new lightning strikes. At one point I looked out and there was over 100 lightning strikes in those clusters of storms that were straddling on the Alberta side. The southern half of BC, including Vancouver Island, can anticipate further strikes today. Many areas where these lightning strikes are landing are susceptible to fire starts as conditions remain hot and dry across the province. Winds are light but may be gusty with the unstable and convective conditions. Some of those gusty winds could be problematic in pushing these new fire starts up into the trees and getting them going. Smoke and haze are expected to be visible in southern regions, may increase through the weekend, right? And then we have here with high temperatures continuing past the long weekend, be aware of prohibitions, mindful of any activity that could start fires. We'll come back to BC Wildfire Service's map in a few minutes, but we'll look at the BC thunderstorm risk first today. I'm very upset about this map, actually, because there's a gap. There's a gap of no storm prediction here, according to Environment Canada, that really is where I live. That's a bummer. Of course, this A area is where it's been already going off this morning. We know there's going to be some higher Cape values in the Kootenays and whatnot today, so we're expecting some lightning strikes down there. Area B on Vancouver Island, although maybe not severe, the risk of lightning strikes is there. Most of these storms, like Area C and D, like we're talking hail that's less than 1 centimeter. We're probably not going to be seeing severe in the Chilcotin today, and then down into the South Chilcotin, into the also coast mountains. Essentially, this sort of area has been kind of a problem area. Been watching for a number of days. We're concerned about that. However, over on the prairie side, this straddles over to the Alberta side. We'll see here where the risk of severe is a little higher today, where you can see 1 to 2 centimeter hail. You're getting up to 2 centimeter hail, you're probably talking about a severe thunderstorm. So that straddles the Manitoba and Saskatchewan border, mostly western Manitoba, southern Saskatchewan on the west side there, and western Alberta near the foothill is going to be an area of increased activity throughout the day. Looking at 250 millibar animation, we're talking the top of the jet stream right now, looking at disturbances. As you can see, cooler air is going to be plunging down into eastern half of the continent, mostly eastern Canada. Seeing a cool down there, and we're not seeing that here. The ridging is well up and into the Northwest Territories where they've been having heat warnings there for days and days and days. We got this disturbance off Vancouver Island's coast that's going to be putting some precipitable water towards the province. That's helping make some of our thunderstorms. Another one that's out there. But really the storm track right now, as we were talking about yesterday, because of the high pressure that's been sort of blocking in the North Pacific, is sending things up towards the Arctic Ocean, basically sending things up to the Yukon coast and whatnot. We got a big storm that's going on up there, making snow and whatnot, but that is helping to warp the jet stream even further. Let's play through this for a little bit here and see what we see. So what you see is that ridging stays for us largely. Boom. This upper level disturbance means I think we'll see more thunderstorms next week than we currently have forecasted for, but there's that big ridging. We're talking hot weather next week. Hot weather, well, it stays shitty on the eastern half of the continent. So we're probably talking about another week of pretty nice hot weather there to start August. And these disturbances out in the ocean tell me that we're probably going to see a little bit more thunderstorm activity than we've been looking at on the maps. But we'll talk about the work week's weather, I think, on Sunday. But just looking at precipitable water for the next little while, what do we actually have in BC? We're largely facing dry as you come into next week. Boom, there's some dry air popping down into especially Manitoba side. A little bit of dry air crawling up into BC. So we're looking at warm conditions, dry conditions next week. And that's going to continue to have our fire activity be noticeable. Means new fires are going to pop up. Means there's going to be more activity in terms of burning going on out there. So that's what you need to prepare yourself for in Western Canada this week. And then the door will start to close for us in BC probably sometime end of next weekend or whatnot. But that's a ways out. I don't like to guess too far out right now. It's 11 a.m. at the time of recording. Sometimes we don't get severe storm watches put on until the 11 o'clock hour. But I'm going to assume today that we're not going to have a severe storm watch in the British Columbia interior. I don't think the conditions are there for severe today. That doesn't mean we won't have some pretty good thunderstorms out there. It doesn't mean that we won't have thunderstorms that produce lots of lightning and create more fires. But we do have a special air quality statement that's now fresh for the Caribou. That includes Quesnel, Wells. And we even put Wells on here right on in Bowron Lake. So we're going to be impacted by fire smoke here. Chilcotin, that includes, it says Hansville. That's actually Hanceville. Alexis Creek, Chilenko Forks, Tatla, Nimpo, Anaheim, and southern half of Tweedsmuir, Prince George as well, Highway 16, Bednestied, Upper Fraser, Hickson, south end of McLeod Lake and whatnot. New fire starts across the province. Expect smoke near the active fires. So that's what's going on right now. Our hot weather warnings have been dropped, but they continue for Alberta now, that hot air mass. The worst of it is now over on the prairie side. This has been going on for a number of days here, these heat warnings, so we're not going to revisit them much, right? Temperatures should be cooler in Saskatchewan starting Sunday. Conditions will moderate more on Monday in Manitoba. And as far as Alberta is concerned, conditions will be cooler over parts of Alberta on Sunday. So we're seeing a bit of a change there, but of course that heat's helping make a few thunderstorms active today. Air quality warnings up into the Northwest Territories where fires have been very, very active. Heat warning up there in the Northwest Territories up to 32 degrees still, and that continues until Sunday. We got the big storm moving through the north right now. That's producing a 1.5 meter high storm surge warning. The conditions will be possibly damaging to infrastructure and whatnot. So we have two warnings there. That also includes a wind warning where gusts up to 90 could be going on. So careful for the storm surge warning. On the Yukon side, less storm surge, just 35 centimeters possible there, whereas over in the Northwest Territories, you're talking a little bit higher. High winds up to the north. There's a large storm, as I've been saying, moving through there. That's what's going on in Western Canada right now. We are still seeing records being broken here even though today, Saturday, the 30th of August, we are coming to the end of the month right now. On Friday, we've seen records broken in Alberta there. Beaver Lodge up to 32.4. Same with Camrose. Seeing some eclipsing there. Some of it by not a great deal, 1 degree or whatnot. For a lot of it, Grand Prairie up to 32.6. That kind of smashed their old record for sure. Red Earth up to 32. So we got a bunch of 32s in Alberta there. British Columbia a little bit cooler too, although Chetwynd up to 33.3. That smashed their old record. Same with Dawson Creek, smashed their old record by almost 5 degrees. Fort Nelson busting through their old record. Golden eclipsing theirs, and Mackenzie significant growth of their record. And then it'll go up to the Northwest Territory. Still seeing Fort Providence at 33.3, Fort Simpson 32.7, just smashing old records, just smashing. This is a record-setting heat wave, everybody. Hell, even Saska's getting in on it now. La Ronge up to 31.2. That's far north, 32.5. It's crazy. This kind of heat that far north at this time of year. I really don't know what to say. Even the Yukon now setting some new records. Carmack's up to 29 Celsius in the Yukon at the end of August. Unbelievable. It should be fall up there by now. We'll look at the GFA graphical forecast area map here to have a little bit of a look at what's going on. Some of these are what pilots look at, right? So some of this is kind of difficult for some of you. I get it, but you can see this trough line basically through the province in this diagram. The trough line here, the double purple there. You can see thunderstorm icons on either side of it. It's this purple one here. That's the upper trough, So that's what we're looking at for that central part of BC. That upper trough diagram shows you where that thunderstorm potential, where that contact between different areas of air masses are. As we go through the day there, you can see that trough now moving straight in through the Caribou, bending its way up and through somewhere between Quesnel, Williams Lake. It appears to be settled in right there. Could see isolated cumulonimbus all across this trough, isolated thunderstorms all across this trough. The high remains stationary up in the north. Good for them as we move through the afternoon. Then you see those thunderstorms starting to break out and eclipse. The trough trying to move into Alberta side. You can see how that's spilling on over, why we'll be seeing thunderstorms in the Alberta foothills especially. And then this area C there, as you can see, additional risk of thunderstorms down there still. Vancouver Island, Coast Mountains, near Bella Coola, South Chilcotin, whatnot, even out to sea. Looking at where a convective available potential energy is highest today, as you can see, parts of it's been very, very warm in that central part of Manitoba. They could be seeing some thunderstorms there today. We'll watch some of this spill over on the Alberta side. You can see west of Prince George, West Caribou, out to Chilcotin. Little bit on Vancouver Island, large area of unstable air just to the north of Edmonton. That's where our thunderstorm is going to really pop up along this line right behind them. And as you can see, our Cape values aren't crazy in the Caribou and Prince George today. They're not crazy on Vancouver Island. They're elevated, though. They're elevated enough that you could see something happen there. When you compare that, though, to some of the Cape values we're seeing over in Manitoba, that is big time Cape values. So watching for them, but they're not expecting much for severe there. So first thing this morning, we had all this cluster of thunderstorms already going off their areas to the due east of me. We're pretty close by way of Crow where some of the lightning was this morning. We do have wells kind of in that risk area, sorta. I don't know if I'm going to see one here today or not. Just to the east of me, yeah, quite likely. Cumulus clouds that were really stacked up this morning near wells just to the south of us there that were evident and visible. I don't see them now. They seem to be gone. So into the Caribou Mountains themselves, probably find myself just on the outside of it and watch those storms go into an area where I just really simply cannot chase them and get good footage of them because the mountains have no road through them there. Okay, down southern British Columbia, yes, that risk in the Kootenays. Please be watching your fire starts. Call star 55555. Call a bunch of fives. There's 4 5s there. How many I just said? I don't know. There, West Caribou. Now we're seeing that into the Chilcotin, a little bit in Vancouver Island. Larger outbreak. ECMWF seems to think that I am in the threat area, whereas Canadian modeling does not think that. So I'm going to go with the European modeling and hope that they're right today. You can see all through that foothill side of Alberta, that risk of thunderstorm is there. there for sure. Manitoba, we'll talk more about yours, but you should just subscribe to Weather Center in Manitoba, both on Facebook and here on the YouTube. You'll get your best weather forecasting from them. We don't have somebody that covers Saskatchewan quite the way that Justin does there. I know Brandon covers a lot of Alberta. That's really his thing, but he does that mostly on radio and on Facebook. He's not a YouTuber, so that's why I talk about Alberta and Saskatchewan sometimes. More so than I do any other place. But as you can see, throughout the day, as you get to about 6 o'clock, a lot of that thunderstorm activity is going to be starting to settle down. But areas to the west of Quesnel could see some activity that ranges a little later in the day. So here's what we're watching today. Watching for those thunderstorm pops-ups. I'm concerned about the West Caribou. It's pretty dry. The indices aren't great. Pretty concerned about the Chilcotin. It's been dry much of this year. It's been an area of the province that hasn't really had much luck. We could see overnight thunderstorms on Vancouver Island. That is possible. Yeah, why not? And then we come into Sunday, we'll go right to 12 noon. You can see even Vancouver at risk of some lightning on Sunday morning. Southern BC, these are errant storms, mostly pop-ups. I'm not expecting anything crazy to be going on with them. Some of those storms will be pretty short-lived. But by the time we get into the afternoon, you'll see a larger area. We'll probably see this area, down near Karamias and whatnot, some of those big mountains. I've seen a lot of our thunderstorms have been mainly mountain huggers, hilltop huggers. Risk continues for Vancouver Island. New fire start risk up the coast mountains. That's a lot more days of lightning activity than we're used to seeing there. However, it's becoming more and more of a common feature to see thunderstorms on the west coast. Large thunderstorms on Sunday through northern Saskatchewan, central Saskatchewan, northern Saskatchewan, up towards northern Manitoba and BC. Let's go. Where's our fire starter is going to be? I mean, nothing here is that impressive to me. I'll just tell you that. Nothing's that impressive. Vancouver Island probably going to see more of a show than we're going to see here in the Caribou. Unfortunately for me, scattered, isolated thunderstorms in a lot of these cases without a real clear trigger. And it's not like a cold front's just slamming on through. That will completely change the game. As you get to 7 o'clock at night, Vancouver probably at risk of seeing some thunderstorm activity in the Strait of Georgia there on Sunday. So that's something to be watching for, all our Vancouver friends. Hoping to see that you get some beautiful lightning shows. Look at that over down in Washington State. Thunderstorms through the night coming into Monday as we come to Labor Day here. Thunderstorms off the coast possible as well, starting early morning. Unusual place to see thunderstorm activity? Yeah, it is actually. It's a very unusual place to see thunderstorm activity. You don't see a whole lot of lightning flashing off the BC coast. Monday, we're still seeing pop-ups. Are we still seeing pop-ups? Yeah, we're still seeing some thunderstorms in southern BC on Monday. If I go with ECMWF modeling, it would tell us that thunderstorm activity will peter out through the week and then pick back up by next weekend. I'm skeptical on making any calls on that right now because I think the models will keep changing because you got so much heat. And we got that offshore, a series of offshore blobs of instability, those little upper level lows out there and whatnot that I think could, little changes here and there could result in larger changes as we experience them here on the ground in the interior. So I'm just going to wait to give a more detailed forecast for the work week for a day or two or three like we've been doing. But now we know today, West Caribou, Chilcotin, down towards on a line to Vancouver Island, areas to the east of me seeing thunderstorm activity first thing in the morning. That continues at this hour. And we are definitely seeing thunderstorm risk in southern British Columbia, Vancouver Island on Sunday, maybe even Vancouver Island, maybe even Vancouver itself. Okay, hit like, share, subscribe. Like I say, please keep helping the guy out here. Tell a friend, help me grow this channel. I really need the YouTube channel to be successful because I just can't hang my hat on the instability of Facebook making its decisions here and there, you know, how it's going to punish me retroactively for something I posted months ago, right? So, yeah. A big blow to my little empire this week, but I know you'll keep me going here, and for sure, always check my YouTube. It's the most reliable platform I can really count on. Still, okay, everybody, we'll talk at you all soon. Hit like, share, subscribe. Like I said, bye now.